Hello, good morning, Andrea. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you at?
In Bonaire. I'm in Bonaire.
Bonaire. Oh, beautiful. I can't wait to
Yeah.
visit. I cannot wait to visit.
When are you
Um,
coming?
well, I'm actually coming to Aruba at the end of this month, but I'm not going to be able to make it to Bonaire, so I'm going
Next
to
month.
hope to plan for the first quarter. How about that?
That would be nice. Yeah, let us come visit.
Maybe I'll spend my birthday in Bonaire,
Ah, okay. Do that. I'll be on the
March
party.
2nd.
I'll be coming.
Good morning, Ricarda.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's starting to get cold here. I'm starting to really get excited about coming out to the islands. My
Oh,
sister-in-law just left. She just left this morning on a 9 o'clock flight out to Aruba.
oh wow, that's awesome.
We're all fleeing. It's very cold outside.
Is it? That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's supposed to snow.
Different people in there.
What?
There's a different link.
Okay, I'll quickly help Jarno out with. He has the wrong link, I think. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Good morning, Marianne. I see you.
Good morning.
Edwin, I see you driving.
Yeah, hi.
You're so fancy in your Jeep.
Oh, very fancy. Very fancy, but very busy, which is good.
That's great. Is everybody busy right now? Is this a busy time?
It's high season starts early, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, high season has to be somewhere. It's not here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We're gonna wait for everybody to come on here, but right now in our market, we're just really, really tight on inventory because the winter comes and people are not inspired to put their home on the market. The house doesn't look great, the lawn doesn't look nice, the trees are all bare. So some people really believe they're gonna get a better price in the spring when it looks better. And the truth is there's very little competition right now, and there's no homes. So if somebody were to put their house on the market here in the New Jersey market, it would fly off the shelf. And so that's a little bit of what we're talking about today in understanding that, understanding our markets. We still have some people coming on here.
I think some people joined with Google Meets and they are sitting in a different room.
I don't have a Google Meet, so maybe it was the office that sent out a Google invite.
Yeah.
So in the Google invite, that's probably where they're going, but in the directions, maybe we gotta send another email to them to say, hey, get to that tiny URL, which is a Zoom link. Do you need the Zoom link?
We do have it. I just saw Lars in the Google Meets. I think Jarno was in there for a second.
Ja, hoor. Lars, Suzanne, Nick. Jullie moeten de andere link gebruiken. Dat is de link.
Staat in onze groepsapp.
Listen,
ik
at
heb
least I
Nick
can,
en
at least
Suzanne
I
in een
now
andere groep.
know that we're not speaking English. At first I
You're
was
not
like,
gonna
wait,
listen later.
what are we talking?
This
But
is
I got it
very
now.
interesting.
All right, is everybody okay? Here I see some more. Lars is coming in. Okay. And do I see Xenia in here? Don't think so. Okay. All right, well, typically this is one of my favorite sessions. Once again, let me just say that we are here with Ignite, with the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. One of the things I advise you to do is just put the island that you're from inside of your name. So if you want to put that before, see how Jarno just did that, Curacao, so we can give referrals to each other. We can't always just get over to the other island and sell something, and we need to have partners. And that's how I talk. I talk about all of you as you are my partners. So if somebody were to ask, hey, do you sell on the, yeah, we sell on the islands. I have fantastic partners all over the world is how I say it. I just saw Xenia come in, and Xenia, I'd like to just throw a co-host at you again.
No problem.
Okay, so that you can go ahead and let anybody else in and we can get started with the material. Okay. All right, just to remind you, you have a student manual. It's been in your follow-up. If you don't have it, just please message Xenia now or Jill. And if anybody else is available to go ahead and send that, just go ahead and put it in the chat if you are missing the student manual, because some people are asking for the slides. Also, the slides, I will follow up with the slides, but the slides are also available on KW Connect. All of the material is there. And it's in PowerPoint. So if you wanted to customize it for any reason, you can. And so we're gonna get started with the Knowing Your Market. Few things. Now, I grew up here at Keller Williams, and I grew up listening to Gary Keller tell me what is going on with the market, because when I started in the business, I was 26. I didn't know anything. I lived with my parents. I just got out of college. I was bending metal for 5 years, and then I decided to get a real estate license, right? So I had to learn through the historic charts that we had as to what happens, what's going on now, what's being predicted, to set some perspective as to how is the consumer feeling inside of the market? How do I explain what's going on in the market? If I don't know, and they're going to purchase a home with me, sell a home with me, it would be real uncomfortable to not really understand how that all works. So in the forefront of the career, you got to do some research. You got to understand what market are you dealing with, and then how do you know if the market is changing, what that means for the client. And ultimately, it's just selling the benefits to the client, or letting the clients understand what the consequences are if they do take some action and make certain decisions in the market. So I do know that you're going to have to educate me a little bit, and I'm going to ask for some input here. I'd like to share with you a little bit about how I learned watching Gary and seeing a national overview. Now, you have a couple markets that you need to kind of watch in order to understand what's going to happen with yours. One thing that we say in the United States is whatever happens West California, it's going to show up on the East Coast at some point. So, I mean, that goes with music and fashion too. Like, it will show up on the East Coast. So we watch those trends. And if something's ticking off in San Francisco, then, we know that New York metro area is going to get that market as well. Might take a quarter or two in a year to catch up, but it's going to show up. So you guys should have markets that make sense. And when you're watching the North American market, you're watching the European market, that should be a real impact, the South American market, as to what is going to happen with your market this year, next year, and in future years. Then you also have your internal market, because a lot of times here, a lot of times people focus on just the very local market. And we try to share with them that, you're in a state of New Jersey, you can sell in other counties, you can sell and you can refer to other states. So it's almost the opposite. On the island, I see a lot of that influx coming from outside of the island, but you also have the business that's happening on the island. And then you also have just your everyday, people are dying, people are getting married, people are having babies, and that movement of the market, what's happening in a social status of your geographic area that would be making people move or rent or, job loss, all of that. So some of this I'm going to need for you to share with me, and please just unmute or raise a hand. There's an electronic hand down at the bottom. If you go to reactions, you'll see there's a raise hand. You can do that and you'll pop to the front. Zita, did you have a comment?
Yeah, here on Curacao, for us, it's important to specifically watch the Dutch market, because Holland is a very important buyer's market here. And currently you see that there's going to be some changes in the taxes if you buy a second home in the Netherlands. So people are more enticed to buy here instead of over there, because that makes a difference for them. Also because the transfer tax is quite a lot lower here than it is in Holland. So yeah, I kind of watch the Dutch market because there's quite a clientele for us over there. And
Well, that's
Yeah,
very
and-
interesting. So the second home market, instead of buying in Holland, they're going to most likely buy in the islands because of financial reasons.
Yeah, also
Now, if-
because we are connected to Holland, of course. On the other side, you also see that a lot of Dutch people are tend to look at the Southern European second home market, like for example, Spain. So that is kind of our competition right now because it's closer by. It's easy to travel to than traveling like 9 hours on a plane to get to the other side of the world instead of flying from Holland to Spain.
That's right.
So
So, and with that, you're speaking to a second home market, and what would impact the second home market would be, you know, the stability of the jobs and the income that is being earned by the person who's going to be purchasing the second home. And so then
Yes.
you'd have to know on the local end what is happening to their job market. Right? Thank you. Joost, and then Andrea.
Yeah, I just wanted to chip in, responding to what you opened your presentation with. I spoke with some American homeowners, possible clients this week, and they're all complaining hard about the high interest rates in the States. I just wanted to do a reality check to see how far that indeed is a threat for us, or maybe an opportunity. Some people are talking about maybe having to sell the property here in Aruba, which is an opportunity, in order to pay off debt over there, which they cannot afford anymore. And it's going to be hard for them to get a second mortgage in order to buy for a property here. I'd
That's
just
right.
like to hear from. I want to throw this on the table and see what.
That's great.
What
Well,
response.
that data I do have, and I will share that perspective because that's the market that I am in. And just the way you connected that, I think there's a few opportunities. There's some opportunities for buyers coming out to have a different lifestyle, and there's opportunities for people that just are not going to be able to afford it because everything has gotten so expensive here, to your point. So I do want to talk about interest rates because when I purchased, we were just about the same. It was about a 6% market here and a 6% market there. That's not the case anymore. We're definitely at 8%. We are expecting to see a decline. They projected 4 decreases in 24. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they'll hold off until after the spring though, but we'll see. Andrea?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on what Sita said, because she said she was watching the Dutch market, which of course is the same for Bonaire as well. And I just wanted to ask Sita, do you list properties on a certain Dutch website? Do you work with some of those Dutch websites? I would be curious to hear.
No, I actually haven't posted in the Netherlands, but that could definitely be an option indeed to kind of find partners over there. Since we as Keller Williams don't have an office in Holland, it could be an idea to connect with some real estate offices in Holland that basically have a clientele that is looking for a second home. So yeah, but I haven't yet. No.
Yeah.
Okay, I think because I'm looking into this as well, and it would be great to hook up with that one, maybe.
So that just because I'm going to keep giving you my aha moments right there. Somebody on here has to go and open up the Dutch KW. It's not, if it doesn't come from this group, I said it and we could all go, gosh, who didn't do that? Because
Do you
you're
know-
going to make
Do
the
you know the
connection.
temperature?
What?
Do you know the temperature at the moment in the Netherlands?
Well, somebody's got to live there, right? Somebody's got to stay back. But if
Not
you're going to
me.
go with, no. So here's the thing, Judith, though, if you're going to find a company over there, I'm not saying you go and open it, go find the
Oh, no.
leaders that are going to open
Yeah.
it and then partner with them and open it. All right, fabulous. All right, so let's just dive into the material. Here we are in Ignite session 3. I just want to share with you how I look as an outsider, right? As an American, not knowing where to go. Well, now I know I have my KW websites to go to, but I also go and I check out the other companies because I know that we don't have this fabulous IDX. But I did check out our Curacao team, and then I went over into Bonaire, and then I did a little research in my Aruba family. And because I know the Aruba market, I looked at the other companies that I did know that were on the island to give me a sense of what is the island. And then I saw our rental company as well. So you don't have to be in the market to absolutely know the market. And I don't have access to any type of multiple listing system, like you may have a shared system to share listings. Which island has that and which does not? Are you able to see other companies' listings at any given time?
Bonaire doesn't.
Bonaire doesn't. Aruba does, correct?
Yes.
But only the companies that participate? Not everybody.
No, all of them.
All of them? Okay. But they're not mandated to, I'm assuming. See,
No.
with the commission mandates everybody to put their listings through the multiple listing service. And that does help our sellers. There's a benefit to that, right? Because the seller gets exposed to anybody that's out there that is a potential buyer. And we have to be able to explain that to buyers and sellers. When we can expose you to the mass amount of people and get everybody's eyeballs looking at you, don't you think you have a better chance? And always ask questions, don't tell. Don't you think you have a better chance at procuring a better offer if you have 10 buyers looking at your house instead of 2 buyers looking at your house? Wouldn't that make sense, Mr. Seller? Sure. Right. And tell stories too. One of the things that we're experiencing in the market right now, in our market, and maybe in some of your markets, because there's little markets inside the markets. If we had, everybody needs to go buy a water bottle. There are only 2 on the shelf. One has like a dent in it. One is like got like the cap was open, but nobody drank out of it. And they're usually $10, but there's only 2 and there's 20 people that need them. How much can I charge for those water bottles? $25, $30? Somebody's going to pay $100 for a water bottle if they need it. There's no water. There's only 2 for 20. That's what we're experiencing in some of our markets. I was just in a market that had 20 homes on the market, 40 homes under contract, and in the month, 50 homes sold. So there's not enough inventory coming on in order to supply for those buyers that are sitting there on the sideline. Okay, so let's dive back in. Now, this is your student manual. And so you can see that the slides are going to connect with the topics. And as we go into the buyer and seller market, this is our vision speech that in the United States, this is what I've grown up on in understanding our market. So if there is a way to create this for our associates, if there's a way to create this for our consumers, this is the data that will always take the emotion out of the buying and selling. And out of our agents' emotional roller coaster of, you know, where's the business coming from? When's it going to get better? There's opportunities in every market. So these are the numbers that drive home prices. Drive the market, the home sales, the prices, the volume, which means the average price point, the inventory, how many bottles of water are on the shelf, right? The mortgage rates, the treasury spread, and the affordability. And this here slide explains what's happened over the course of 30 years in the United States. And over 30 years in the United States, we've seen a natural 4%, if you see the long-term trend of 4%, that blue line. All of that craziness that you see is the American lending. Back in 2004, 2003, you really didn't have to have great credit, and you didn't have to have income, and you didn't have to have money in the bank. Everybody was getting 100% financing. Everybody was getting 100% financing plus 5% for your closing costs. And so people didn't care what price they were paying. They were overpaying because the interest rates were somewhat low and they were getting into homes. Well, then we had the crash. The crash happened right here, and you could see these prices falling hard. By 2011, it was like doom and gloom. You had a seller who bought a property for $500, and now the property is worth $380,000. And in order for them to sell that property, because they have to sell, they're going to have to bring money to the table because now it's considered a short sale. The seller doesn't have enough money in equity to come to the table and get a check. He's got to bring a check. And so we recovered over those years. And you probably, to that point, you probably didn't see a lot of people buying investment properties in 2009 to 2011. And people were losing their jobs as well. And so then we've had a recovery ever since. And then you see we had COVID happen in 2020, and it kind of just jolted us right over. Housing became a commodity. The market shrunk in units, and therefore there was a high demand and prices just shot up. And now we're starting to see our prices level off. Now, this is a national snapshot of the United States. You'd have to go into every country to look at what countries matter to your market most. And if it's the Dutch market, if you could look at this and you'd be able to understand where is the opportunity and when are people going to be buying. Right now, people are making tons of money. They're buying in the United States. They're buying. Jobs are at an all-time, the jobs are at an all-time high. This here is our total market volume. Now, you can see in 21, volume went through the roof. The price per unit houses were selling. Why do we think that happens? Well, if we take a look at this, this is why it happened. Guys, this is our mortgage rates from 1972 to 2022. And we used to have 18% mortgage rates in the 80s, early 80s. We are now back down to a 7%. Right now, it's about 7.5%. It's dipped since 8. But this here, if you look at it from a 30-year scope, it's not really a big deal that we're at 7% right now. What happens is you look at it from this scope and people are crying, freaking out that, well, what happened to a few years ago when I was getting 3%, 4%, 3%, 2%? Well, it's gone. It was an opportunity and it's gone. And we're probably not going to see that again. And so when you look at how your mortgage rates, 8%, 7.81 is that average, 5.97. So 6 to 8% is good. We were blessed with 2 and 3%. And now people are getting a little stuck because housing affordability, this is showing us, you see this dashed line? That's showing us the long-term average of how much of the income that somebody brings into their household has to go towards the mortgage and insurance and all the taxes. And so when I got into the business, it was back where it is now, 25%. 25% of somebody's income is going to go to their mortgage. Well, because the interest rates dropped so low, look at that. It went all the way down to 13%. So the real truth to this conversation when we were talking with people is, it wasn't the house they couldn't afford, because the house was only 13% of the income. It was the cars and the 5 cars and the fancy cars and the dance and the soccer and all of the hockey. Our kids play hockey, and then you got travel hockey. It's the vacations, it's the eating out. So when we look at our consumer, we have to educate them on a whole. The whole is, it's the whole budget. It's not just the house is unaffordable. It's some of the things, the lifestyle has to change in order to afford the house you want. So, when we're trying to help people make decisions, sometimes it's led to the conversation to one spouse who's not working that really you only want another $50,000 in a house. You need an extra $300 a month to come into the house. Go get a part-time job and show the spouse that you could bring that money in because you can afford it, but you're really only looking for a little more house. And those kinds of numbers would help move the needle. That woman got a part-time job and her husband said, okay, you're going to do your part. We're going to buy the house then. We'll get 50,000 more in a house because you're going to be bringing income in. But we were able to help people make decisions by having clarity in the numbers. Now, the one thing I know about the numbers inside of the Aruba Market Center, as Marianne and Edwin shared with me the multi-year trends report, is it has grown tremendously in volume and commissions earned over the last 3 years. And not so much in agent count, which is fantastic because the production per agent has gone up. The earnings per agent in our Aruba family has gone up. And right now, while you are one big family, right, because we don't have our stats, Curacao or Bonaire right now, because we haven't matured over 3 years to take a look and say, wow, look at the company, how it's grown. But when I look at the numbers that they shared with me, I don't know if the market has grown as much as they have grown, and that would say that they are outpacing the market in growth, outpacing the market in growth of increased volume, increased earnings for their agents. And why would a consumer want to work with a company like that? Well, because they got to be doing something right to attract the talent and to grow the talent from within. And so that's how we help our customers best. You see that we're getting results, and our results are growing. So using numbers is also, if you don't have stats, if you just got if you just got into the business last week or last month, or you haven't sold something yet, you have the company's stats to go on. You have the nation's stats to go on. You have other nations' data to talk about. So any ahas from those numbers from the American market? I do want to just share something from the Canadian market. I see a
I
hand
do have
up.
one question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, would you recommend to put the numbers in our listing presentation?
I do. I absolutely do. I'm having a challenge with the Zoom. I can't find you right now. I absolutely put the numbers in the presentation. Why? Because that's what we're going to talk about. I go to a listing appointment, I go to a buyer appointment. All right, you know about the company. I maybe sent over my listing presentation, which talks a little bit about who I am, who the company is. We sit down, I'm going to say, how can I help you? Let's talk about what's going on in the market and what you need to get accomplished. So let's talk about what happened, what's going on, what's going to happen, what's the best choice for you today. Because I also will say, Edwin, sometimes we're talking to people and what's the other option? You know what, we'll wait a couple years. Well, what happens if you wait until 28 and this happens and we project out this, or we talk about the possibilities of where this market might go? This house that's 800,000 turns to 1.4 and the interest rates haven't gone down much. Did the job go up that much that you can afford that much in a mortgage payment? Why not buy now? We could do an Airbnb. We can do a short-term rental, long-term rental. Let's come up with some solutions. And if you know, I'll share these reports obviously with you. Knowing those numbers and being able to sit with a US citizen to say, here's what's going on in your market. I know this. That's why it's smart to buy here now. And if they could get qualified to buy at your interest rate, then you can help them with that. Like I was helped, and I have a bank account with Aruba Bank. So, all right. Yes, I absolutely put the numbers in, and I put the numbers that matter to the consumer most. You know, so obviously here's on the Canadian market, they didn't have crazy lending. Okay, they did not have crazy lending. This is home sales annually, constant increase, home prices, constant increase, 4% growth. That's a natural growth. Home prices went skyrocketed in the 2000s. And this is why when I talk to people, I talk to our friends from Canada, what they say is that they did not have that crazy lending. In order to secure, you know, $100,000, you need $100,000. It's like a 50 to 50. You can't have only 3.5% down to get 97% of the loan, which is what we do. And that gets people in trouble when the market is volatile. Right. So yes, being a real estate agent is about influencing people, but if you don't know what, you know, what's going on in the market, then it's going to be real hard to influence them and help them make the best decision for them. Something else I want to share with you is this comes from the Shift book. Okay, this here is what happened during that time. Is tons of agents got in the business. Tons of agents got in the business because everybody could thrive in the survive time. Everybody was surviving, everybody. Then the market starts to get hard. Then we start losing agents. It's at that low point in the market, which is what we're experiencing right now here in the US, is that we're at a low point in units and volume sold. That's when our agents really bunker down and our true professionals will grab market share. And what I mean by that is there's a resilience factor, guys. If the market is shrinking, If you did 20 transactions, hold on to your 20 transactions. Next year, do 20 transactions again, 20 or more. But if you do 20 again, do 20, 49, do 49 again. Because as the market shrinks and you hold on to those units, you will actually be gaining market share. The minute that that market turns, you now start paying attention. Okay, that gains me 50% market share, 20% market share, 10% market share. Now I'm going to hold on to that percentage. Now we're going to drive and we're going to grow in numbers, but we got our percentage of market share up during these down times. Okay, so there's always going to be an opportunity in the market. Okay, so let's go back into the slides here, or let's get the slides started. Okay, knowing your market. Here's the truth. It has been done in another market and it could be done in your market. And once it's been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how it can be possible in your world. And that I have seen in multiple markets. I have been in 11 markets just in our New Jersey, New York metro area. And every market is different. I shared that with you on an earlier session. Every market taught me something, even down in the Barrier Islands. Now, I'm thinking our Barrier Islands, which are South Jersey, off the tip of New Jersey, we have multiple islands there that people vacation at. That's where our second homes are bought. So you just said second homes. We have a second home market just right here in New Jersey. Do you have a second home market in Aruba, in Curacao, in Bonaire? Does somebody live somewhere and also own a little beachfront property? Is there a market inside that market? In my market, what I have to understand is who buys that, right? So we have Philadelphia people buy certain markets and North Jersey people buy other markets. New Yorkers buy other markets. So who's your audience? Because every audience is different. I can't market to a Philadelphia guy the same way I would market to a Brooklyn guy. Totally different, believe it or not. Although put them in a room together, you couldn't tell the difference between either one. So know your market. Knowing and connecting with your market's all about that research and preparation. Going to other agents' sites, going to, especially for Bonaire, Curacao, if you don't have that shared service, going and seeing what is everybody else holding. Because it's one thing to feel I'm feeling really great. I feel like I'm busy. I feel we have a lot of inventory. Well, if you go and look at another company, now do you feel that way? Is the data showing you that you have more inventory or you have more variety of inventory? Or figure out what your story is. Maybe you are the company that has all the developers. And when I say company, guys, what I mean is each of you are your own company, right? You're all your own individual business owners. What's your specialty? We're going to get into that in the next one, defining your value proposition. But what is your market? What is your specialty? And then how are you telling your story is going to be how you're attracting your market. Okay, so knowing your market, 3 types of real estate markets: buyer's market, balanced market, seller's market. We have not experienced a buyer's market in a very long time in New Jersey, in the United States, actually. And does anybody know what market you're in currently right now in your current market? So a buyer's market is going to be that there's more inventory to choose from, right? Imagine this, you walk in and there's 10 cars on the lot and they all offer bells and whistles. They're all different prices. You could test drive them all. You could see the value in them and then you can make offers on all of them. And maybe you get this one or that one. You have a chance of getting like a bunch of them. Or you're in a seller's market where there's only 2 dinged up bottles on the shelf and you need one and there's 20 of them, right? There's only 1-2 houses to choose from in that price point and there's 7 other buyers that also need that house. The balanced market is some of them go real fast in a weekend. You're like, whoosh, didn't know that was going to go real quick. And others sit and you have to have that massaging price repositioning conversation. Let's reposition our property on the market, right? So does anybody know what market you are in your own current market? Okay. So what I would encourage you to do is take a look at your active inventory out there. Take a look at active inventory. Get that number, even if it's within your own office. Active inventory, under contract inventory, and closed inventory all in 1 month. What happens in 1 month? In the last 30 days, did you have, 5 new listings come on, 10 go under contract, and 7 close? I'll tell you right now, you're in a buyer's market. I mean, you're in a seller's market. Lars, did you want to add to that? I know you got some insight on it. Can't hear you. I can't hear him. Can you guys hear him? Nope. Maybe you can put it in the chat because it's not working. Maybe it's your earbuds.
And now?
There you go. Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think over here in Aruba, if we would have to choose one, we're more in a seller's market. I mean, people are most people are looking for kind of the same properties. Everybody wants to be close to the ocean. They want to be in the north. They want to have a good rental property. However, we don't have the inventory for it. So people sometimes have to make, okay, then this is not the perfect house I would go for, but at least it's in north. We can rent it out. So let's take that one. So if we would have to choose, we are in a seller's market. However, it's also not a complete seller's market, I think. So it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah. Well, but that's great insight, right? So that's great insight. And you just might have those products specifically be more in a seller's market where maybe something more in the center of the island is not in a seller's market. It's in maybe a balanced market where the local traffic of just moving to a bigger house because family's expanding may be in a more balanced market, and that second home rental market is in a seller's market, right? So that does happen. And to sit with a seller or a buyer and to give them insight like that would make me want to work with you. I would just know that you know what's going on in the market and you know what's going on, and hear me on the micro markets also. The micro markets, the metro markets, the macro markets. I just shared with you a macro market snapshot of United States. If I were to give you other reports that I have up, there's New Jersey, there's Monmouth County, there's take it down to my city, and I could get to a micro market. Even in my own city, we have a waterfront property, we have a condo, right? We have all different style homes that have in different markets. So knowing what type of market is important, and watching those numbers regularly to see when it's changing is even more important. Inventory is the number of properties that are for sale within a market. What's the inventory? What's available out there? And that's a challenge when you don't have a shared service, when you don't have a listings, multiple listing. So to team up or to have a portal or to allow even a for sale by owner. Now hear me, I know that we can add properties to our websites. One of our, and I see that some of our sister offices have it, the secret listings, right? What a great tool that you're able to market on a national, international, worldwide level this seller's property that he used to be the best kept secret on the island, right? So there's the inventory in the private market, and then there's the inventory to the open market. And then I also saw that you have open listings as well, and that's for everybody to sell. So, what is the benefit of having an open listing? Anybody want to share why you would take an open listing? Okay, possibly for marketing, right? Listings bring buyers. So if you have a product that you've made an agreement that it's going to be an open listing, you have to understand that you're really looking for that end buyer, and that's the only way that you're going to pretty much get paid. So know what your audience is when you're marketing and you're looking for inventory. So what is the inventory in your market? What is the average number of days that a home sits on the market? Some markets here, it's 11 days. Some markets, it's 38 days. What we have seen in our local MLS is days on market has increased. Now, there's a couple different things. Here, we are seasonal, which obviously affects you seasonally as well. But having a seasonal weather market gives us, you know, we don't expect to see tons of homes come on in the cold weather. When the spring comes on, we expect to see a more influx of homes because, like I said in the beginning, they look nicer. People go and see, there's more people out. Our school ends in June, so we have looky-loos going out in January that are going to buy in May to close in July. So we know that umbrella in our market. We know the umbrella of opportunity for closings. So what we don't do nothing in the other times, we're sowing the seeds. We're doing the work. And there's a way to deseasonalize your business from doing all this crazy yo-yo. Got 10 listings, got 3 listings, got no listings, got 1 listing. Oh my God, I need more listings. Oh my gosh, I can't deal with it. I have too many clients. It's just a yo-yo. But in order to deseasonalize it, to get that crazy out, you keep your lead generation consistent. You keep your lead generation consistent and you keep your top 20% in front of you. And everything else, it either happens or it doesn't, and it's going to get done by somebody else, or it's not, and it's going to be fine. And so that's what happens until then you get so crazy that you need the assistant. Okay. Knowing your market's really important. Knowing the price of the average home, understanding, is it increasing, is it decreasing, and what type of real estate inventory is available. And this is important when you're servicing buyers as well, because somebody comes to you and says, look, I have a budget of about 500,000. I want to spend between 450, 500,000, and I want to live like this. This is the lifestyle I'd like to have when I buy this house. If you know the inventory, you're going to know what's possible. You're going to go, well, look, are you willing to give up this? Because you can go here. If you're willing to do this, we can go here. When you know the inventory. If you don't, you're sitting with the buyer going, let me check it. Let me look. Now, how do you get to know the inventory? You go see it. I was out there and I was at Jen's open house. I saw some inventory. If I can go see inventory, you can go see inventory. I'm sure you could just make a, hey, I'm going to preview the property phone call. I saw you have a listing there, Judith. I want to see that property. Would it be okay if you, I'm sure you can go do that. If anything, you can drive around. And for me, I'm not on the island right now, but I Google Earth everything. So you can Google Earth it and see what areas bring what, and then you do the research with the computer, and you could really get some insight on some markets. So interest rates and lender regulations, this I'll leave to your local banks and lenders. If you do not have a great relationship with a banker, that's one that you're missing. Now, I don't mean that you always refer them. I mean that they come to your office, you have lunch with them once a month just to see, hey, what's going on in their world? What are they seeing that you're not seeing? They come to the team meeting once a month, twice a month. They come to your open houses to educate the buyer that's going to walk in. How about, do they give you a sheet that shows people, hey, this is how much it's going to be monthly if they were to put 20% down, 35% down, 50% down? You know, really be your partner, because right now with our temperature, we don't have the extra money. We are financially conscious as to what something's going to cost monthly. And so you need to have those answers if it is a possibility that we can borrow on the islands. You also need to know about any kind of creative, for people that are on the islands, any kind of creative financing that's available. Are there any grants that you have through your lending institutions? Do you have grants for first-time home buyers? Do you have grants for immigrant owners? Okay, so here's what happens in our world. We didn't have grants either, but we have people that are fighting for these grants. So what they do is they lobby to get some of that tax money to go to help society. And some of the grants that have come out lately are fantastic. First generation purchasing a home, $7,000. You buy in New Jersey first time, $10,000. Certain counties are giving $15,000. So essentially, some of our buyers can walk into a product with $22,000 with grant money before they even have to put a dollar down. Some of them are getting checks at closing. So I'm not confident in any of the lending possibilities, but if you don't have a relationship with the banker, you need to. And a couple of them, because some people don't fit in the vanilla box. Some people need some creative financing. You need to have some hard money lenders as well. Guy has an absolutely amazing opportunity. He could develop this land. He could put a couple houses. He's going to need 2 million. Do you have a guy that will lend 2 million at a 12% interest rate? Because I do. So we could make that happen. We could secure the deal. We could go ahead and build, and then we could secure the listings. Do you have renovation loans? Do you have people with money that are willing to do personal financing? And do you have homeowners that are willing to hold a note? Now, this is
Can
all
I add a
savvy stuff.
can I-
Go ahead, Edwin.
Can I add something? Yeah. Because of the grant here in Aruba, and I'm almost positive that's because Aruba Bank does special rates for medical persons. So if you're in medical, you get a discount at the Aruba Bank. Maybe that's an article is the same. Maybe it's a good idea to ask. And
Yep.
of course, we ask, or we actually try to get a negotiation between the different banks, and some of them, they might, if they're first home buyers, sometimes they pay the transfer tax. So there's you can,
There you go.
if you know your people at the banks, give them a call and ask them what the specials are.
What's your special for the day, right? Yeah, what's your
Yeah.
specials that I could be offering to my clients so that they'll work with you, because that's where the first thing happens. They have to get financially able. You can't be working with clients who are not financially able. And the way you help people in your sphere of influence, the way you help people that are your neighbors, that go to school with your, their kids go to school with your kids, is you help them understand what financial freedom is in being able to own a home, own an asset that's going to increase in value over time. And if it's through having seminars to educate people on some of these products, teaming up with a great lender and bringing that to market, bringing that to a coffee, a Saturday bagels, coffee, and and Keller, right? We're going to be talking about home ownership. Come by the office, 10 o'clock, grab a coffee, grab a conversation. Coffee's and conversation. We used to do that when we were younger. But education is what's going to help people make decisions. People are sitting on the fence. You could be helping people. Do you know that the average net worth of a renter is about $5,000, right? But the average net worth of a homeowner is about $300,000. You would be helping somebody pass on, even it's not a legacy, $300,000, but it's not that. Our average homes are going 4, 5, 600,000 by the time we leave this earth and go with God. So you'd be really helping people help people. Interest rates and lenders. So that's on that. Economic factors. This is where you need to know what's going on. Are we building stuff? What's unemployment looking like? Are they laying people off? Is there a new factory coming in? Amazon is huge here. IKEA is huge here. When they build a factory somewhere, we know jobs, or how many jobs will they be bringing? So that's something that's challenging on an island, but what other economic movement can you be witnessing that would tell you, hey, houses are either going to be going up for sale or people are going to need to buy or rent? What are some things, I want to hear you guys, what are some things that happen on your island that procure people to need the move?
Well, our population is actually declining on the island because quite a lot of people have left during COVID, and you even see the younger workforce, if they study in the United States or they study in Europe, that they don't tend to come back, which has been a problem over the years already. But actually, you see that the numbers are declining. So, actually, with the our population is growing older because younger people tend to leave. So yeah, there's different things that you need to look at. Of course, investment buyers, but also how are we going to work in the next couple of years with that if more people tend to leave? And there's different initiatives that they're probably going to try to see how they can get people to come back to the island after they've studied, or how to have
Oh,
them
sure.
stay here and study locally instead of studying abroad and not coming back.
Well, you know, there's thank you for sharing that great perspective. The things that would happen is, well, we offer grants if you stay on the island and go to school. We'll pay for the school. Well, you know, entry level jobs will start higher. You don't have to go to Europe to get that kind of salary. You know, certain things that they'll start to do, hopefully. But as realtors, having that education out there, because there's other people that probably feel like, no, we need to save, we need to bring them back. We need to make it a place where our young ones want to thrive here. There's business opportunities, right? There's a lot of opportunity. So there's got to be some sort of a campaign. When I think about Aruba, it wasn't until COVID where we started to see billboards all over the turnpike and the parkway, which is where all of our traffic, we're driving to work and we're looking at, ha ha ha, come to Aruba. As we drive into New York City with the crazy traffic. But then everybody's buzzing, we're talking about Aruba. So maybe there needs to be a Curacao campaign somewhere. Andrea, I saw a hand.
Yeah, well, maybe just to give a little insight on Bonaire, we had a big jump and increase in population after COVID or during COVID already. So we are actually growing pretty fast. And
Wow.
in Bonaire, it's a big problem with cheaper housing. So there was no inventory for cheaper housing for families. So this has been a big problem. But now they're building about 2,000 houses that should be
Oh, wow.
cheaper. So I think as soon as this is coming into place, it's also going to change the market big time.
Okay. That's great to hear. They're doing some affordable housing here as well. We have some new rentals coming into my market, but then they're offering, out of the 8 buildings that they have that they're building, one of the buildings will be for subsidized affordable housing. So we see a lot of the builders giving back in that manner to get their projects approved. So it may be something that if you're working with developers, you know, you're looking at the betterment of the entire community. How do we give back to our local people that may not have the jobs on the island like others that are coming in from other places, right? And so you guys are so important to get the education out to your island. Yeah, you guys are inspiring me. All right. Hold on. Where are we here? Okay, so economic factors, and then okay, so neighborhood numbers, nearby shops, restaurants, health facilities, neighborhood attractions, right? That brings the jobs, that brings the money, that brings the lifestyle. So understanding what's going on there, I'll encourage you. Go and visit local business owners. I was listening, and I'm not a big fan of him because he's very vulgar. Gary V. He is a, you know, Instagram motivator or whatever. So, but he was saying if real estate agents would stop just only talking about what house they have for sale and what open house they're doing and what this sold for and what the interest rates are, if they would stop doing that and start talking about how awesome it is to buy in this community, because this is the best coffee shop and this is the best dry cleaner. This business has been in town for, you know, 80 years, 3 generations. And go out there and showcase why people choose condo lifestyle over the single family or the desert versus the beach, right? Really go and showcase, do some B-roll of your communities and be the person, the mayor of your community. Be the person who lets everybody know about all the things that they wouldn't naturally know without digging. Okay, so build your expertise, become a real estate expert of choice. And expertise is somebody that is going to do the research. Is your week, when you look at your schedule, oh, I owe you guys a schedule. When you look at your schedule, is there time to go see inventory? Is there time to do the data and research? I love doing data and research in the morning. Every Monday morning, I open up, I have this here, which is our multiple listing system. And we go into here and we go into the numbers. I check on how many listings were listed this week, how many went under contract. So that's something on a local level in just your office. you can do. And in Aruba, you have the data. So if somebody took charge on, like, let's say the ALC and says, hey, I want to know every single week, I want us to know how many listings we took this week. It was 4 this week. It was 8 this week. It was 12 this week. How many went under contract? You know, we start celebrating that, you'll watch the growth of your company. So learn the market, learn your clientele, listen to the individuals, and keep the headlines in context. Build your expertise, learning the market. We already talked about that. Learning your clientele is you getting out there and being part of it. It's not gonna, you can't do it from afar. You need to get into your charities, into your churches, into your schools, into your neighborhoods. Know your lore. So lore stands for language of real estate. Language of real estate. So before I said, I know that Aruba, the conversation that you would have is it's outpacing last year's business, right? So the GCI has grown. It has grown year over year. That's the language of real estate, is that year over year, there's been an increase of at least 20 to 30 to 40 to 50%. That's the language of real estate. Not like, yeah, we're doing good. It feels good. We sold a lot of units. Those are general. Okay, we're down 10% in units, but we're up 22% in volume. Why is that? Well, because the units are going for more per unit, and it's taking a little while, and the things are falling apart, and okay. Language of real estate. Know your business. Notice the changes over time in your personal business. You're with Keller Williams. You have this. This is the multi-year trend. If you've been with KW for a couple of years, so this is Aruba. This is Aruba's closed volume per agent, listings taken volume, and the chart goes on and on. Talks about agent count, agents gross, agents net. And so you can see that there's been tremendous growth in the listings taken. 417 listings taken last year. Already 282 listings taken this year. 2 more months to track on the board. That's phenomenal. Listings taken volume. Last year, $127 million in US dollars was taken in listings for a brand new company, essentially. And this year it's already at 103. So you've seen the growth from 41 to 98 to 127. That kind of stuff. If you don't have numbers, now you do. Year to date, it was 139% growth, and it was 29% growth. And then hopefully as we trend out for the next 2 months, we see either a flat line or growth. But if you look at the rest of the country, you look at the rest of the market, they have declined. And if they've declined, then you're outpacing the market. So whatever your numbers are, you need to know them. You need to figure out how to tell your story. You need to identify who are the buyers in that market, who are the sellers. If it's a local, I mean, I'm assuming when COVID happened, it was like a shutdown for a couple of months. The only kind of business that would be going on would be local. But who are your buyers right now for this product, for that product? How do you need to communicate with them? Who are the sellers? Are the sellers overseas or the sellers here? If they're local, what do I need to do for my local sellers? What do I need to do for my overseas sellers? Does the market benefit your client or not? If your database is organized properly, here's what it sounds like. Hey, Brenda, it's Mary Beth. I know we haven't spoken in a while. You closed on the house about 2 years ago, but I wanted to tell you right now, there's an amazing opportunity because the interest rates are low. There's an amazing opportunity because this new development is coming out and they're building 2,000 homes. Do you want to get in at the ground level? I know you were an investor a few years ago looking to put $2 million in Aruba. We got this project coming up. Would you like to fly out and take a look at it? Does the market benefit your clients? You're going to have to match make. Does the market put your clients at risk? Hey, Brenda, maybe you should be refinancing because right now your interest rate's like really here and they've dropped about 2-3%. Let's get you talking to Sonali from the Aruba Bank. Right? So that's how you get to be that expertise. Listen to the individuals. Grassroots approach is going out to the community, going out to the networking events, the showing up at the charities, at the parades. I mean, every time I'm there, there's something going on that I go, if I was an agent, I would have got involved in that. Learn where your sphere gets their information from. Ask them, hey, where do you search for real estate? Prior to me meeting KW Aruba, I was looking on all of those sites. I was like, Aruba Realty, where could I find properties? Let me see what's available out there. And be present. Be present, meaning in your database, with your people, with your local, on your social, everywhere. Keep the headlines in context, read past the headline, and know your numbers. Our headlines get crazy. Right now, I told you guys about the lawsuit, and the lawsuit says that they don't have to pay buyer's agents anymore. They could just pay their listing agent. So now here's what we have going on. There's this whole thing about if you lost your dog, right? If you lost your dog, would you, and your dog's your like most prized like value in your family, are you just gonna go tell everybody, hey, I lost my dog, can you find my dog? Or are you gonna go post your dog out there and say, hey, here's a $5,000 reward for my dog if you find my dog? And then it's a week later, nobody's finding your dog. Now like the $10,000 reward for my dog. Well, why wouldn't you do that for your house, Mr. Seller? Why would you not entice a buyer's agent with qualified buyers who could actually pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So we have sellers that are questioning, should I pay a buyer's agent right now? And we have to educate them through little stories like that, that yes, you should pay a buyer's agent. Okay. So keeping those headlines in context, utilizing your app. If you don't have your app downloaded and you don't know how it works, how are you going to best tell your customer how it works? I love using the app when I'm on the island because, you know, I know it's accurate and it's hooked to my KW family. So all of your customers should absolutely have the app. And if you know that they're coming to the island, or if they're on the island, make sure that they're downloading it. You could send that through a text message. I think that's the best way to get it to them because they have to download it on their phone. Commands, have your integrated to Kelly Cloud. This is where you're going to set up your opportunities when they are a lead so that you could see the people that are in your business. Are they a nurture? And I'm sure our KW Tech team can help you with that. And then once again, I want to remind you, it's the 10 likes, the 5 comments, and the 1 direct message every day. This is the 10-5-1 of the habits that you should be incorporating into your lead generation business. 10 likes a day, 5 comments, and 1 direct message. And every single morning you should be saying happy birthday to anybody who has a birthday on Facebook. If you have the time, I would record a video. Hey, happy birthday, Lars. You have an awesome day, right? Or I don't have time to do it for every single person. Hey, just want to wish you a happy birthday. Have an awesome day. You're the best. You could send that out 25 times, right? So using social media is your friend, but you also have to have your 10 conversations, your 10 contacts added to your database, and then follow it up with 10 written hand notes. That is a daily success. Now you choose to either do it or don't do it. And as we talked about last week, getting an accountability partner is key in all of this. Other enrichments that you should be honing in on right now is studying your market center report, which is what I just kind of went over. So your market center leaders will share with you maybe some numbers that, you know, Ricarda, I'm not sure what numbers you could share with them, but maybe giving them an overview of some of your guerrilla warfare would probably give a good snapshot, like of you taking a look at the market, what you saw, maybe they could see would help them be better professionals. And then for Marianne and Edwin, maybe even going over a bit of the multi-year trends at the next team meeting would be something that, you know, people could ask questions. And why did you have so much growth? And yet it's the people. It's really the people. I know you could point to the people. Great. And so preview some homes this week, guys. I'd really love to know that you're out there seeing the inventory. If you can't get in them, drive around them and then visit and hold some open houses. If you don't have a listing, I'm sure somebody who has one who's not going to be here could let you sit that open house and generate some buyers. We have an open house class, so we're going to talk all about how you do a great open house. And I know Lars does a really great open house as well. I watch his videos. And then study your language of real estate, which is how are you doing in the market? One of the numbers that we didn't talk about that I think is really important is list to sell ratio. If you have a property that's listed at 500 and all the time you get 500 or better, you have an over 100% list to sell ratio. Why wouldn't a seller want to work with you? And then again, if you're an agent who lists it for 800,000 and it sells for 650, well, that's not such a good percentage list to sell ratio. So I'm going to encourage you to talk to a friend, right? So we need to look at our own numbers to see where we're at and see how we can best get help. And then the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book is also in download. I've sent that out in the PDF form. And then what else? What other enrichments? All right, so guys, as we finish up today, let's get some ahas. I know that's a lot of data for you, a lot of I think that was a lot of thinking also, you know, where you could take all of that data in your market and implement it in your business. But give me some ahas from those. Loved the dog story. Thank you, Arno. There's actually a video, if you follow a guy on Instagram, his name is DJ Tenhove, Tenhouev or something like that. He has fantastic videos. His wife was a marketer. He's one of our top luxury guys here in New Jersey. And he was a part-time agent selling medical equipment when I was his team leader. And years later, I want to say boyfriend just sold a $16 million house. His average inventory is probably about 2 million here in New Jersey. And his marketing is off the hook. So DJ Tenhove. Lars, go ahead.
I think a big aha moment for me was for the listing presentation to include more data in there. So right now I have the feeling that not only me, but I think most of the agents are giving the listing presentation mainly about the house, how you can help them as an agent, telling about your expertise, while it might actually be more beneficial to get more details about the market in there, so you can show that you have the knowledge and they feel confident working with you. So I think that's something I'm going to try and do more often.
Lars, as a younger agent, it really helped me build validity with some of my older clientele as well. And for some of you, even no matter what age you are, they may know you as a teacher, a nurse, their friend who didn't do anything for 20 years, and now you're going to sell houses. So this is where we build validity because, yep, I have an expertise in it. I study it. I know it. I'm bringing this data to you. And then they start looking at you a little bit different. Often when I was a young agent, I would get somebody say to me, nobody's talked to us like this. They all talk about the marketing, the pictures, the house, what they're going to do. The truth is, guys, we all could do the same thing, right? We could all hire the same photographer. We could hire the same little Zoom guy that's going to fly his drone into our house. And we could get it on the same internet and the Instagram and the Facebook and all of that. At the end of the day, am I going to help you make the best decision to price your house properly and market it properly? And then when the feedback starts to come in, I'm going to analyze it just the way I analyze this data to tell you, listen, you had a lot of people come through. Don't get mad at them. I mean, like, they at least came, saw it. They're not making offers because you're still overpriced. And you're going to you're setting the tone for the conversation that is going to help them get to the finish line. And Andrea, before we finish, go ahead.
Well, I want maybe to share something from the last, an aha from last week, because after the accountability partner idea, I partnered up with Francisco and with Sam, and we had our first meeting this Monday, and we're going to have one every Monday. So it's really good. And I think, yeah, we already like agreed what we're going to do this week. And it's great to know that you have someone that really asks you if you did it that week.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for giving us that. If you haven't found an accountability partner, please make that on your agenda before the end of the year so that you roll into 2024 with really a strong plan. And to that, next week, I do want to bring out one of my favorite pieces in the business planning is the lead generation sheet. So I will put that in my follow-up. I want you guys to start thinking about what you are committing to as far as your lead generation plan for 2024. Edwin had said you guys were looking for some scripts, and I dropped in the Facebook group as well as in the email the Ignite scripts that are in the back of the book. I have some other scripts I'm going to be sending to you as well. And I think it might be fun to do a little script off. So we're going to see when we're going to be able to put that on as well. That would be where I need full participation. We're going to throw you into breakout rooms, and you're just going to play with the scripts. We're just going to practice on each other and then come back and laugh, and then go back in and then come back out and laugh. Okay. All right. So you guys have a fabulous week. If you need anything, or if you'd like me to email you anything that I haven't mentioned, thank you, JP. Just go ahead and reply to me, and I'll find it in my plethora of files and send it out. All right. And you guys have a fabulous week. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mary.
very